In 1969, NBC released a short series of animated cartoons titled The Ant and the Aardvark, which centered around a blue aardvark and a red ant named Charlie. The series was widely popular, soon leading to 17 shorts being produced and the duo becoming a featured part of the NBC series. In 2021, the channel Fox Pixar Media released a film that went by the same title, featuring the titular duo, with the runtime being 2 hours and 23 minutes long and the film being rated R. It is also the worst film I have ever had the displeasure of watching. I discovered this film when I was tagged in a video from a creator I had never interacted with. That should have been a red flag from the get-go, but my pea-brain self decided to comment under the video. The creator quickly responded, and it wasn't long before I learned why they had mentioned me in their post. I was tagged because I had commented under the trailer for Twisters, expressing how I loved the movie. That's right, this guy really just clicked the newest comments button on the video and listed off everyone who had said they'd watched the movie. I then read the description, which listed a link to the movie and said that they had tagged us in order to get us to review it and comment on it. Well, I guess you get what you wished for. So join me, assorted people of the audience, as we dive into this pure atrocity of a film. Let's go. We start this movie off with 6 whole minutes of company logos. Not even the most collaborative movies have that many companies working on it, which is an even bigger red flag for this movie, considering the quality that we're about to witness. After we finish the slog that was the last 6 minutes, we finally get to the prologue scene in the wonderfully ancient Egyptian year of 1972, where I guess there's some sort of gladiator arena fight going on. I can barely tell what's happening, and then for some reason this guy pulls out a knife and tries to murder someone, and then it just ends with this wonderful eyesore brightness warning in 1, 2, 3. We then get an additional couple minutes of credits until we finally get into the first scene of the movie, where we get this wonderful rule breakage. Not even 10 minutes has elapsed and we've already broken one of the biggest rules in filmmaking. Despite the little description thing saying something about a red sign saying hotel, we cut to this shot of an empty desert and what looks like cat shit rolling over the ground. Don't worry, I'm pretty sure it's a tumbleweed. And then we cut to a sign that says Necrom. That's white. Then what was the purpose of the description? Then finally, after around 9 minutes of waiting, we finally cut to our main character. I'm pretty sure he's an aardvark, but he looks more like my sleep paralysis demon, and we will be referring to him as Mr. Blue. Anyway, Megamind uses his binoculars and spots a ladybug. Oh, little ladybug. He then pulls out a gun, then walks up to it, and stands over it menacingly for way too long before shooting it. He then announces that he's going to commit genocide on the entire bug population, and then gives a mind-blowingly not accurate statistic of how many insects there are living on this earth.
Only 800,588,2,300 more to kill.
We then get this wonderful iMovie text announcing that he has killed all but one of his targets. Now that's what I call dedication. He then sets his sight on his final target, an anthill. He then walks up to the anthill, gun in hand, and uses his mouth as a reverse periscope. Although the last time I checked, there aren't any eyes in your mouth. Unless... He then looks around, determining that there are no more bugs in the area, and he goes and declares that he's going to go shoot himself? Wow, dude, was that really your life's mission? I would have dedicated my life to something else, like ignoring this movie. Before he can go down the sewer slide, though, he's then interrupted by a earthquake. The anthill starts shaking, and a little red tornado comes out of it, which is revealed itself to be an ant. And makes a point of announcing to the audience his species, even though it's pretty clear, although I would understand if somebody was confused, because he's missing a pair of arms. He then says this wonderful, beautiful line in response to the aardvark saying that he's gonna go kill himself now.
What? No! You can't get to your resting spot! You had just gone all fucked up over in the head!
And then the ant does a musical number. That's right, this is a musical, I guess. It's not even an original song. The person who voiced him, which is probably the person who did everything else, just sings over the official audio, which is comparable to the guy who makes those song covers where he screams the lyrics into a pillow.
Build on the science guy! Build on the science guy! Build on the science guy!
The ant then shows himself around, looking around at the barren landscape, which he hasn't seen before, even though he lives there. Wow, talk about a shut-in. He then announces that the tree is an eyesore, which, by the way, is Mr. Blue's favorite tree. He chops it down, which makes Mr. Blue so mad that he pulls out his gun and tries to kill the ant once and for all. The ant then grabs his gun, throws it, and then this happens. We then get this wonderful line.
Well, I just took your gun, threw it, and apocalypse has happened.
The blue aardvark then waits for the ant to go back inside, and he performs his own little musical number. Not 5 minutes after the ant performed his, and it's equally as bad. We then get to see a montage of the two hating on each other, which has some very odd undertones, I'll say. I mean, they both have pictures of each other that are placed on heart-shaped objects. I'm just saying it's a little bit queer, is all. If you know what I'm saying. I'm totally not enjoying this. We then end the montage off, and then this thing appears. He refers to himself as a demigod and an imp. Sir, you are not either. You look like the weird ogre things from the DreamWorks Rainbow Gremlin ripoff. The new guy proceeds to shit himself, I'm not joking, and says that the two need to be friendly to each other for 10 minutes, or else they'll, kill them with his giant beer gut. I am not joking. This guy is not intimidating in the slightest, yet these two are scared into being friends. We then get this wonderful friendship montage, and then we also get a scene after this montage where the blue guy proceeds to name his fantasy of wanting to fuck a Gondrak. I am not kidding. This is in the movie. Here is the line.
Probably deep frying insects in a double-sided vinyl record while getting drunk and dead while having sex with a gumdrop.
Things suddenly escalate into a big argument. The two then break up saying they're not friends, and the ogre guy comes back. But instead of doing what he promised he'd do, he announces that it's been 10 minutes, but then says they need to fight to the death. They did what you wanted. What's wrong? He then summons these two little Koopa things wearing condom hats. We then get a lazily executed fourth wall break joke, and then we learn that they're Spanish and that the aardvark and the ant know both of them, and that their names are Pacho and Altoro. The imp then, I guess, uses his magic powers to throw the ant, across the desert. And despite the fact that they had just broken up from friendship, the aardvark then proceeds to take on the imp in his fight to the death challenge in vengeance for his totally not dead friend. The big guy then sicks the two stupid Koopa creatures on him, and he proceeds to bitch slap one and throw the other one at the bitch slapped one, and they both die a very racist death. The big guy then announces that the blue guy will have to eat the red guy, or he will sick a tornado on both of them. The Blurgon guy then leaves, and a tornado just magically spawns and touches down. The red guy tries to find shelter while the blue guy tries to move a pole for some reason. The ant then finds shelter and calls over to the aardvark to let him know that they're both saved. But instead of taking this offer and sticking by his friend who is doing a legitimately nice thing for him, the aardvark then proceeds to chase him. Ant finds a scooter and the aardvark finds a scooter, and they both have a totally well done scooter race. But then the ant, I guess, crashes. The aardvark then picks up the ant, ties him to a pole with himself, and then eats him in the tornado. The tornado stops. The aardvark somehow fixes everything with his mind, and then let the scene play out.
Something's not right. Wait. Oh. Oh no. This isn't over yet.
We then end this movie with a bird's eye view of the aardvark's house with two pictures, one of the ant, one of the aardvark, atop the heart-shaped roof. So, I just reviewed the entire movie. Now, what are my thoughts on it? Well, I'll just be going at it through the categories in the order of best to worst. So, there's animation, editing, voice acting, dialogue, story, plot, and whatever else I feel like cramming in there. The animation, despite being the best part of this movie, is still quite abysmal. The stop motion is janky, the character designs divert from the original ones, which were much better, mind you. And the ant's eyes slowly deteriorate over the movie in a way that cannot be ignored, with them slowly getting clouded with black Play-Doh as the pupils move, which is totally not upsetting. Anyway, I'd give the animation a 2 out of 10. It has some merit, sure, but it's still quite bad. The editing. The reason this is second place is because some parts actually legitimately made me laugh. Like this one right here. Although I'm pretty sure I only find it funny because my brain is conditioned to, whenever there's an explosion, go ha ha, funny, funny, laugh, laugh. I'll give it a 1.7 out of 10. Despite a lot of the shots being way too long or way too short, and a lot of the lip sync audio just not lining up, the explosions were funny, but mostly because my brain finds explosions funny. The plot and story. Okay, I'm just gonna say this. The plot is nonsensical, and the story makes absolutely no narrative sense whatsoever. A lot of the main beats are just thrown in willy-nilly. There's a lot of character breakage. And, of course, the big elephant in the room is that everybody forgets everything that they say or takes what they say the wrong way completely. There's also a lot of annoying tropes and filler, so I'd give the plot and the story a 1 out of 10. It's just nothing burger. And finally, the dialogue. I put this in last place because the dialogue is so badly written. You could have told me that this was written by a toddler, and I would buy into it 100%. Characters break character all the time. People forget what they said last minute, and then say a completely different thing the next. It is abysmal. 0 out of 10. Okay, I hope you liked my review of this totally obscure, totally weird movie. I will probably not be doing anything like this ever again in my career. So, if you liked it, please leave a like, and if you want to watch the movie for yourself, which I hope heavily discourage, by the way, the link to it will be in my description. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and please forget you ever watch this. Goodbye.